Welcome everyone. We'll start our second lesson on strategic human resource management. Lesson 1 is already recording available on Moodle, so please go through LO1. I'll recap during our last lesson again. So if you have any question, please drop me email. My name is Anjum Sattar and we're doing diploma in strategic management and leadership, and we are doing unit 3, strategic human resource management. And today lesson will go through LO2. LO2 is learning outcome 2, which is just based on be able to create a human resource plan in an organization. So which we'll go through. Before starting our lesson, let's a bit recap what we learned up to now, are what sort of the things we're supposed to learn. So unit 3 is a mandatory unit, and it's a 15 credit unit, level 7, and learning outcome 1 you already, and the recording already available on Moodle. Understand the role of strategic management. What is the role in our organization? Human resource management. Assessment criteria 1, 2, 3 we already discussed. So second learning outcome, which is we're supposed to do today, be able to create a human resource plan in an organization. We have 3 assessment criteria. Assess the business factor to consider before human resource planning, determine human resource requirements in different organization context, and develop a human resource plan in an organization. So next lesson we'll go through, be able to discuss the role and the legal ethical issues in our human resource policies. We'll go through some legislation and ethical issues, be able to plan effective human resource strategies, how we can make effective or human resource strategies, which we'll go through in next lesson. And following last lesson we'll go through, be able to evaluate application of leadership management theories in our organizational strategies. So our inductive content, what we're supposed to learn. So learning outcome which we're supposed to be addressed during our lesson. So critically nature and the importance of strategic human resource management, which we discuss during our first lesson. We'll go through today human resource strategies we'll discuss a bit, and we'll go through human resource planning. Is quite the mix in different these. So our key focus is a human resource planning today. Features and the skills and retention, recruitment and selection, upskilling, reskilling, succession planning, output. So these all sort of things will be in our discussion. These are the key point words which we're supposed to be learned. So all recommended books are given here. You can download online. I'll try to be upload few books online as well. So if you have any question, please drop me email and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So we'll start our lesson today. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we see? Yes. Okay. Welcome everyone. We'll start our lesson 2, in which we'll address LO2, learning outcome 2, and so 2.1, assess business factors to consider before human resource planning, which we'll go through today. So we'll start. Assess business factors considered before human resource planning. So what do you think? What sort of the factor we need to consider when we'll make the human resource plan?
Well, first of all, the needs of the organization in terms of skill, persons, rules.
Brilliant. So we need to consider the organization needs, what organization needs are, what's the organization mission, what are the organization value. Because if we're making the human resource plan that contradict with our values, with our mission, with our vision, so that's not good. So we're not going to achieve our organization objective. So always we need to keep in mind our organization, our strategic objective, where we really want to see our organization, our mission, our vision, our values. We're not going to compromise on quality. So if we compromise On the HR policies, we're not recruiting the right person for the right job at right place at the right time. So we're not going to achieve, we contradict with. So we'll assess the business factor, consider before human resource planning. Efficient human resource planning, traditionally known as a manpower planning, which is quite important in the success and the failure of organization. Human being is most valuable asset in any organization because people make and break organization. So human resource planning as the comparison of an organization resources with the forecast labor demand. So we're looking scheduling of activities for acquiring, training, redeploying, and possible discarding labor. So we'll go through according to the Johnson and Scholes and various other. This is a very important strategy in our organization success. HR, human resource. So according to the Monsberg, strategic thinking and strategic planning says the latter is about the collecting the relevant information. Of course, if we have a relevant information, we can make the human resource plan effectively. So we need HR data. How many staff we recruited in the past, how many people stayed in our organization, how long they stayed in our organization, what sort of the skills we acquired, and what sort of the skills we required now for our organization to achieve our organization objectives. So strategic planning, strategic visioning, and strategic planning in terms of, so we need all information. Information is the lifeblood of any organization in SAM in a HR planning perspective as well. So when we make HR plan or planning, we need to consider internal factors. What those are? Corporate objective. What is meant by corporate objective is mean organization objective as a corporate, as an organization. What is meant by objective? Objective mean the end result, end of activity, what really we want to be achieved. So we want to maximize our market share. We want to improve the goodwill of the company. We want to increase the customer satisfaction. We want to provide our objective is not earn the profit to serve. So if our objective to serve, not profit, so we need to make sure we serve, we identify the needs and the wants of the customer and we fulfill them. So corporate objective, the cost reduction is likely to require the HR to implement, we can make it redundant. If we have a cost reduction corporate objective, we can make the people redundant. Job reallocation, so that can be organization or corporate objective. Operational strategy. Strategies mean action plan. The word strategy is derived from the Greek word strategist, which we use to be in military, how we'll counter against. So we need to keep in mind what strategies are using our competitors so we can make our strategies accordingly. So introduction to new IT, other systems and processes may be require new staff training. So marketing strategies, what we have a marketing strategies we need to be look around in term of HR. So internal influence on human resource. If marketing strategies change, human resource requirement will be changed as well. Financial strategies, decision to reduce the cost, like we mentioned in few lessons in the previous unit. Nokia, we don't have many people. Nokia now, it used to be that the organization financial strategy was to cut the cost. They close a lot of research and development centers and ultimately impact on we not managed to launch a new innovative product as a Nokia. So we need to look around the financial strategies and HR planning is need to be linked with it. Any question? Anybody any question? Okay, next we're looking external influence. External. Internal within our organization, external is outside. Those are not our control. We have to adjust ourselves. Think about the Brexit. Slow down economy. If they slow down economy, we don't need more staff. So maybe we need to plan the unnecessary stuff we try to make them redundant because of course we need to be keep the right size. You maybe heard about the downsizing. Downsizing word is also used as a right sizing. So if we have a too many people, it means we are wasting money and ultimately we're not earning a lot of profit. So market changes, loss of the market share, competitor may be required to change the divisional management or job losses to improve the competitiveness. So that's all we need to think about. Tesco, Asda, Morrison. Lot of skills customer advices is reduced because the self-scanning machines introduced in the market. So we need to look around these things and we need to make sure we have a right staff level. So economics changes. If any economics changes, think about economics growth. Our economy. What do you think? How much is our economy is growing?
30%, but I don't know.
Economics growth is less than 2% now. So if our economics growth is less than 2%, which used to be 3%, 4%, so we need to think about if the economics growth is slowed down, and we don't need a lot of staff. Of course, there won't be a lot of demand after our product, our services. So we need to be think about technological changes because technology is replacing human being. We need to make sure if we are introducing new technology, new automated system, we need to make sure we reduce the stuffs. So external factor, we can't control them. We have to adjust our operations accordingly. Our staff planning, our HR planning need to be reflect. Social changes, growing number of single person household, increasing demand from employees for flexible working option, flexible working hours. So we need to make sure we work in shifts pattern. So if it's a legislation as well, flexible working hours, um, according to employment tribunal, we need to make sure we'll provide the options for employees. Political and legal changes, a lot of political and legal changes. EU legislation is going to be changed, pension, other legislation. So we supposed to be reflect in HR planning as well. Any question?
No, that's okay.
Okay, next we're looking within that resource-based strategies. What is meant by resource? We learn in one of the unit in other perspective. Resources are the key to the strategic capabilities can be broken down into four areas. Physical, we need to make sure we have a physical resources. Human resources is very important. So when we are planning, we need to look around those resources we have as an organization. In financial resources, intellectual resources, intangible like a brand, patents, copyrights. If we have those of our, we are making a contract with other companies to manufacture on the behalf of them. We need a more staff. So human resource, we need to think about how many managers we have, how many and different age group people in our organization. We're not supposed to discriminate on the basis of the age, but we need a quite a mixture skills in our organization. Competencies, of course, in our organization we need competencies, ability of the people to do something. Capabilities, competencies come with the experience. So skills, attitudes, knowledge, behavior, potential aptitude towards towards work, those we have in our organization to sustain. All these we need to be type of resources and threshold, that's a minimum requirement to sustain in a business. Threshold resources, those are required. So at least we need a minimum resource which are required to be achieved our organization, our corporate unique resources. Those can be competitive if our staff is very trained, if our staff is diverse, if our staff is young and innovative ideas they have. That's a unique resource we have against our competitors. Threshold, the skills and ability required to meet the minimum requirement. That's the threshold. That's we call the benchmark, which we need to be like, we can say minimum the people have a functional skills level. Yes, they have a math, English, and ICT level 2 qualification. That's a threshold to be sustained and full properly function in our organization. Core competency, that's a unique, those can be create a competitive advantage in different roles. So we need to look around these all. Sometimes threshold competency, threshold resources we required, threshold competency, unique resources, core competencies, inadequate resources. If we have an inadequate, or we need to be redundant competencies. Some competencies which we used to say we are competent to do something, with the passage of or with the change in the technology, that those are becoming outdated. So resources that are valuable, resources that are rare, resources that are not easily immediate, which we can, no one is really inquired, that's a resource that's not easily substitute. So all we need to look around in our organization when we'll plan dynamic capability, the capabilities, those are changing with the changing environment, keeping in view of the term we normally use. The, of course, external environment change, and we need to be capabilities, ability of the people are upskilling. If we not upskill the people, we will be outdated and will be hard in the organization to sustain. Any question?
No, no.
Okay, HR strategy. How far is your organization developing its strategic capabilities? So we need to look around. If we're not developing the strategic capabilities in the long run, in the strategic level, short term, medium term, and the long term, it's very difficult to sustain in our organization. A lot of companies in the UK, due to the skilling is behind, compared to Germany and various other developed countries. So a lot of companies, they are short in terms of the resources. That's why the productivity level is quite low. Even in some countries, people are only working 4 days or 3 days instead of 5 days. They are giving more productivity compared to 5 days working pattern in the UK compared to 3 or 4 days in Germany. So these are the things we need to look around how we can improve. Targeted training and development we can, staffing policies, organizational learning, and developing people's awareness. If we do, ultimately that will become a huge resource for our organization. Component of HR strategies, we need people are resource, competence, and performance. We need to be, and people and behavior, personal and collective policies we need to make sure in our organization, and organization people or structures, procedures, those are crucial. Structure of organization, role and responsibility we supposed to be clear, and chain of command, who's responsible. For the lesson we'll go through organization structure and we'll discuss more in details. So HR, when we are doing or will make HR planning, so first we need to look around the business planning process. So business planning, corporate philosophies, environment scanning, certain constraint is mean the limitation on resources. So normally in our organization we need three types of resources: manpower, money, and um, material or infrastructure. So objective and the goal and strategies. If we have those, then we have operational planning within a business, and then we have a budgeting, and we need to look around. But this we can link with the HR planning. So business needs, if the business needs change, HR planning need to be changed. External factors change, legislations change, like we need to be make sure there won't be any gender pay gap, and we need to publish now the reports on the public domain. So with these are the legislations change, and HR policies need to be changed. Forecasting requirements, staff level, staffing, mix, organization, and the job design, all we need to be look around according to the business planning. Action plan, yes, staff authorization, recruitment, promotion, transfer, organizational changes, training and development, compensation plan, other benefit, and labor relations. All we need to look around is we can't work in separately HR planning. It should be linked with the business planning. Business plan is overall plan, and HR plan is just for human resource planning purposes. HR and the business strategies, two-way process, and also other functional areas such as marketing, sales, production, and IT and HR should be linked with each other. So if we do not link, we work as a separately isolate, we can't really achieve our all organizational objective. So leadership development, workforce development, organizational development, scanning long-term people trends, long-term cycle, long-term people, strategies in our organization, business strategies we need to think about. Is there any gap? We want to be expand our organization, but we don't have a right staff, or their skills is not up to date. We're not going to achieve, what we're supposed to achieve. The gap analysis, scanning current capabilities we have, and short term, we need to look around the objective setting, performance metric, reward system, short term training, short term business people strategies. All this we need to be balanced between HR strategies and business strategies. If we don't, we will be not going to achieve our corporate objective. Determine human resource requirement and organization analyzing information for HR planning. HR planning is a fundamental. The second are 2.1, which we discuss now. We need to determine the requirement in different organization contexts. Different organizational contexts, it will be different in different organization, in different environment. We require different sort of HR requirements. We need to be focused on HR planning, is the fundamental forecasting operation, balancing projected demand and the labor workforce to develop the plan for the future manpower utilization. So we need to focus. So environment is both internal and external environment. We're supposed to do scanning. If we do scanning, that will help to explore about organization objective and strategies. We need to be focused, and then we can make the project manpower demand. How much is demand? Is it internal manpower supply? Assess the external manpower supply. We can promote internally staff, or we can recruit outside. So all this we need to be project manpower supply or project manpower demand. Demand and supply will determine. So like the demand and supply determine the rate or the salary or the wages as well. So we need to be reward system need to be accordingly reflect. So manpower plan, all this we need to be make based on demand and supply law. Like in demand and supply, we help to decide the price in the same way in HR planning purposes as well. Demand forecasting, three key methods we can use: demand forecasting, statistic models, work study method, and managerial judgment. So stats statistical models we can use, the related implies number demand to the specific organization goals. For example, in terms of the production, sales, passenger mile, level of service, one model may relate projected production demand to the required number of people to achieve this, while more sophisticated models take into the account variables such as economies of scale. So we can focus on the economies of scale, where the more products are produced, the less labor is needed. Typically, these projections may be presented as a graph. Any question?
No.
Okay, so we can look around the graph, like we can show if we have implies how many product we can, if the implies increase. Normally the productivity, if we are producing more and more, is compared to we need a less implies. So per implies, productivity can be changed, can be increased up to certain level. So we need to be look around if we have automated machines change, so the productivity implies can be changed. We need to make sure we'll make it and utilize the staff accordingly. Okay, work study method. This so we can look around statistical is based on the time it takes to do a specific task, which produce a figure of the man hours per unit of output. Like how much is required per hours to produce one unit. Its most useful production related activities. Similar activities include the job analysis and task analysis. So we do the job analysis, nature of the job, and task, nature of the task. Managerial judgment we can use top down and bottom up approaches. We can use the top levels. That's why nowadays undercover boss is very important. Like the people going as a manages real-time environment. They observe, what actually required. Or we can listen to the low-level staff and we can involve them in the planning. Uh, have anybody heard about Delphi techniques?
No.
Okay, Delphi technique is a 360-degree appraisal, because in the past senior level management used to do junior level people or subordinate appraise them, but now this technique is becoming outdated. Now we are using Delphi technique, 360-degree appraisal. We are asking the same level of our colleague, what they think about us. We're asking junior levels management what they think about. We're asking external customer to whom we deal what they think, the service they get it. So all the point-based system we can get, and that's we use for the appraisal purpose. The person performance is exceeding or not, up to the level of whatever the benchmark which says. So Delphi's technique, also known 360-degree appraisal. So independently, appraisal system we can set up in our organization. That is very important to improve the performance in our organization. Demand forecasting and the employees utilization. A key factor demand forecasting, both numbers and quality. Quality is very important as well. So we have employees and to utilize in the future. So we need to look around introducing new material or the equipment, particular new technology, introducing change in the work organization such as the quality cycles. We can look around circles of job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment. So these all we need to look around high performance teams. We need to focus organizational development, introducing the change in the organizational structure, productivity scheme, encouraging greater staff flexibility, during the time and the period of work, training and appraisal staff. So demand forecasting and the employees utilization we need to be focused. So how well we use the staff. So as our then is a supply forecasting. Forecasting implies supply is a concern with how many employees will leave organization. Lot of organization, if the what do you think about the joining new employees? How much is cost as an organization? If we recruit a new staff, how much is approximate cost?
Well, it's the advertisement, the management time to employ, to do interviews, shortlisting, and also the training of the to induction. It's cost a lot.
Yes, no doubt, So it's cost approximate between 3 to 5,000 pounds to recruit one staff. So if the people not staying in the organization longer, it's ultimately our cost is increasing. So staff retention is very, very important in our organization. So if the staff retention is lower, ultimately, it shows, organization in culture or the environment or the HR planning is very poor. So we need to focus, staff retention. So we recruit right person, right for right job at right time, and we need to make sure we advertise in the right, the media, communication we use. If we are recruiting, it depends what sort of the person we are recruiting. So we need to make sure we'll provide the options to, and we use various sources or where we advertise various medias, So annual staff turnover index, we can look around the lever in the year and the average number of staff in the post during year. So the percentage wastage rate, how much is stability index, we can use number of staff with 1 year service at date and number of staff implies exactly 1 year before. So what is the stability? Is it more? Is it less? Is the percentage is increasing or decreasing? So that is quite crucial in our organization. Any question up to now?
No.
Okay. So next our area of discussion is develop a human resource plan for an organization. Now we're looking the human resource planning. itself. So planning, what's come human resource plan? These are the key components, are the key elements which we need to be look around in a HR plan. So the purpose of your data gathering and analyzing to develop human resource manpower plan, this would include the following area: HR supply plan, including the succession plan. Succession plan, which we are internal promotions can be, and organization and the structured plan. Employees utilization plan, how many we have managers, how many we have supervisors. We can, if we are closing some SBUs, strategic business units, are so we need to make sure we use internal staff which we already learning and development plan. So we need to look around how many trainings, how many network events we supposed to be arranged in a year. So that will help organization and our staff is upskilling. Performance management and motivational plan. Performance, we supposed to be measure the performance, not the end of the year we'll do appraisal and put the form in the files and we not really review it. So we need to make sure we have motivational plan. Yes, we need to be make motivational plan. How will motivate staff? They will stay with our organization, and ultimately staff retention is very very important in our organization. So reward plan, we need to make sure we have a proper reward plan in place. So reward, uh, is it reward not only the monetary reward in term of promotion, in term of intrinsic reward is both money and the recognition. So we need to be best salesperson of the year or the month or the quarter. So all these sort of different recognitions, implies relation plan. Yes, supposed to be, we listen implies we have a clear plan in place. Communication in plan, any policies, procedures, or the communication is supposed to be two ways communication for effective communication. We're supposed to listen our implies at the low level. So all we need to be plan these, and all this need to be in a HR planning document. So all these sort of the things we must need to be prepared. So what come recon our forecast. So we need to make sure, we can change the plan keeping in view of demand and supply legislation, but we need to be make sure we are making short term, medium term, and the long term planning, keeping in view of the corporate objective of the organization. If those are changed, so if we have our implied, it's of course it's cost us, and we need to make sure that we have a right numbers and the right time. So HR supply plan, how many people we supposed to be supply, where we can recruit, and all this have on pro and con. So we need to make sure we have a HR supply plan in place within a HR planning document. So always we carry on doing and getting the data, because this carry on changing and we have a up to date. We're supposed to be have a talent pool in our organization that will help to meet the demand as well. Organization and the structural plan. So these plan maybe include the department or the area covering being separated and the changes in the hierarchies, the structure and the different remits and the responsibility and different lines of communication we need to be draw. So we need organization and the structural plan implies utilization plan. So how many staff we have, how many, so depends. If the product is high demand, product A, B, C, so we need more staff for A and B and C according to the demand of the product. So we can use the staff effectively. Maybe we can cross departmental promotion or rotation of staff will help to improve the productivity. It has both advantages and disadvantages. So we need to make sure we that's sort of the plan in place within our organization so we'll achieve. So these are the generally involve the changes in the way the work is done and impact such as hours work, flexibility. So learning and development plan, we need to be PDP, personal development plan. We need to look around organizational, because a lot of new legislation carry on changing, and our staff should be aware of these legislation. If not, so ultimately as an organization we can be bad press, and ultimately we'll lose, the goodwill, and ultimately our market shares value will be dropped. So we need to make sure we have a learning and development plan in place as well. Performance management and motivational plan. Performance management system needs to be tuned to the organization aims and objective, as well as the reward structure in our organization. Performance and quality standard, we supposed to be maintain cultural change program encouraging specific behavior, and the performance and empowerment are the career sport to enhance the motivation. So career sport, we identify the needs of our employees, and we supposed to be addressed what sort of the new skill, new software. We introduce new IT system, but our staff is not trained, so we need to be how they will perform. So we supposed to be have a clearly plan in place, so we have a more coordination between our staff and managers. So reward system, of course, reward is very, very important. So we need to be right reward. Yes, we need to think about what competitor is bringing. Reward system is ultimately help to retain the staff, improve the performance. So reward system need to be really reflect, implies relations plan. It might be implication of the implies relation of changes in the implies or the resource. So some question you might be how many changes in the work organization affect the level of involvement and the participation. How will the union react, the changes? So if we make the changes something, union can be react, and with that will be can be media. If we're cutting the salaries, especially, we need to make sure the we well understand and we have a plan in place. So redundant, if we are going to be close something, we need to clear the calculate the cost of the redundant. Do we know the how much is the redundant money normally we pay? What are the rules?
No, it depends on how many years it's worked and how much per day. It's complicated.
Yes, it is quite complicated, and normally every year of service we pay 1 week salary by law,
Yeah.
plus times by the age factor. If you're 40 plus, if you're 50 plus, times by 4 or 5, because the reason that the chances of getting the job is less as that we becoming older and older.
Yes.
So that's we need to be is a by law. And other we supposed to be aware of the tax rule as well on redundant. Normally no tax up to certain amount. Is it? I think so. Is it
Up
24,
to
25?
30,000, isn't it?
Sorry, is it 20,000?
No, 30,000.
30,000. They increase. So it used to be 25, I think so. So that's we need to be well aware of, and we need to plan communication plan. Yes, it's very crucial. Communication is it's a lifeblood. Like a communication, effective communication is supposed to be two ways. So new communications channel for restructuring, how can involve employees and the union and the representative and the supervisor. We involve them in our, so we'll take them on board. So we make HR plan focus on the low level of staff as well. We give the clear representation in our board, in executive committee. All we need to make sure how you will inform and communicate with your pool of talent, succession planning. So all we need to make sure the HR plan is everything is in place in HR planning. So let's will do a bit, sort of little. Uh, it's not as a really quiz, but we'll just clear our a bit few concepts in terms of and what we need to. So okay. Okay, let's will go through HR planning. So let's first question, what do you think? Which option we think? Can we see on screen? Yes?
Say all of the following alternatives to return except
So
Well,
which
you can
one?
redeploy,
Sorry, which one?
redeployment,
Redeployment. So okay, no problem. We'll go through a good starting point. Human resource planning in a is of what?
Good. Oh, well, it's going to be the current workforce, isn't it?
Business current workforce, yes.
Yes.
Okay, well done. Correct. Good. Which of these factors increasing influence on human resource planning?
Well, most likely is the number C, demand, no, adoption of mobile technology.
Well done. Correct. The most important influence on a human resource plan is usually
It's going to be corporate objective.
which one?
Corporate objectives.
Corporate objective. Well done. Which of the following internal flow of human resource?
Well, recruitment social capability. I would say career development. It could be one, but it's a career development.
Which one? The career development.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Correct. Good. Internal
Well,
influence on
it will be the existing of workforce.
existing workforce. Well done. Correct. Good. Great. So which of would be an external influence on human resource planning?
Well, it will be the demographic affecting supply of level.
Well done. Correct. Good. An advantage of redeployment and employer as alternative to redundant.
The business retains key skills and experience. B.
Well done. Correct. Good. Which of these would be external influence on human resource planning?
Well, it will be an increase in national minimum wage.
Well done. Correct. Good. Which of these would be most likely reduce the firm demand for labor?
Well, a sharp fall in economic growth. The first one.
Well done. Correct. Good. Great. Well done. So that's only the first one we missed. That's supposed to be induction training. The following are alternative to redundancy except. Yes.
No, but all the following are okay. I understand it now. I didn't read it properly. Okay, that's it.
They just use the word except, so that's the confusion.
Yeah.
Okay, so well done, great. So any question?
No. Okay, it's okay.
Okay, so these slides will be available online as well on Moodle. So if you have any question, feel free, drop me email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And hope so I'll speak with you next week, and have a nice weekend and
Okay,
wonderful.
then.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.